today. It is Saturday, December 29th, 4:26 p.m. So this video is basically me like interviewing myself, telling you about myself, and I went on Google and I found some questions that I could answer. Hopefully it gives you guys more input on me and who I am and what I do and why I do it. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so I hope y'all like this little setup. Currently in my room, I've got my water. Firstly, I am Kibwe Maono Haynes. Maono isn't really my real last name, it's more of a artistic last name, so Kibwe Maono Haynes is my name. I was born in Trinidad and Tobago. I came to America when I was 3, where I was raised in East New York. Well, before I was raised in East New York, I lived in Crown Heights, Brooklyn, for probably a year or 2 before we actually moved into our own place, got settled down. And it was there where I caught this glimpse of art. I was always drawing, I was always doodling on my homework, getting in trouble for that, wasting paper, my parents called it. And it was one day I got on a train with my parents and there was a guy on there, he had it was a film Canon, I think it was a Canon AE1, silver and black. He had a dope little camera strap and he was just taking portraits of people. And before he walked out, went to the next cart, he was just like, I appreciate everybody, thank you for, allowing me to continue my dream. And that super influenced me. So literally the day after that, I'm walking around with my hand like this and thought I was Mr. Photographer. And then eventually I got a little Kodak, disposable from the store. I summed up the money somehow and bought one. Didn't even know what to do, just was taking pictures and stuff. Eventually found out I can go develop it, got developed. And I was kind of surprised, even at that age. I was probably 9, 10. I don't even know where that camera is. I wish I would have somehow found that camera with those films, but yeah. Skipping forward, because there's so much to tell. I eventually moved out of Brooklyn, New York to Atlanta for 1 year. I was in Atlanta, Stone Mountain, Georgia, for a whole year. Went to school, made friends, fell in love with football. Time out, is it me? Went to Atlanta, like I said, fell in love with football. And as time went, we moved to South Florida, Broward County, so to say. I eventually took my craft way more serious. Better camera, learning more things, doing way more portraits. Because before I was doing nothing but street photography and somewhat landscapes of my own, or some may call it fine art photography. So eventually I did a shoot with one model and that opened a gate. And honestly, I felt like once I did that shoot and she was blown away by the pictures, it made me realize I'm really good at this. Okay. Started charging, and I was charging, honestly, at that point, I was doing $20 photo shoots, $40 photo shoots, $50 photo shoots. And shooting tons of pictures and sometimes trying to mess with video. But eventually I wanted to get better, so I got a better camera. At the time, I was shooting with a Sony CyberShot. It was a tiny little camera. I eventually invested into a Canon, I think it was a Rebel T2i. That was my first low-end professional camera. And then I started doing better shoots. Invested in a 50mm lens, which is still my favorite lens today, between the 50 and 35. And as time goes along, I got better and better, and I just kept bettering myself, challenging myself, shooting with models, doing events, doing parties, which is kind of where I'm gonna shift to the other things that I do. So aside from photography, I do video, film, music videos. I can do product shots, lookbooks for clothing brands. You know, if you're a makeup artist and you need video content, I can do that. If you're an artist, you need a music video, I can do that. If you're a stylist, you need behind the scenes, you need just video content, I can do it. Also, for the record, I'm 30 years old. I've been making beats since I was 12. Shout out to FRAZIER. I design, so design from clothing to flyers to cards to it. I'll go as far as interior design, logos, illustrations. I can paint. I haven't painted in a while, but I can paint. I can draw, obviously. What else here? Art direction, so album covers, mixtape art, song covers, single artwork. Honestly, anything dealing with creative, like the creative side of things, I'm there. Like, I can do it. As far as photography, obviously portraits, so street, lifestyle, fine art, fashion, beauty, boudoir, and my own genre, which I'm building, is called Lucid. I don't do weddings. I do events, but specific events, which I have more control of. What else? What I don't do? I don't shoot like children, in a sense. Not to say I won't, but I usually don't. Yeah, I think that I feel like I covered most of it. Yeah. So let's get into so this is the interview part. If you see me reach my hand, I'm just swiping for the questions. So what kind of gear do I use? My main camera is a Canon 5D Mark II. Right now I have the 17-35 Tamron lens on there with the RHODE mic, ring light for my lighting. I have a 1DS Classic. I have a 60D, and I always use a 50. This lens, a 28-90, and an 85. Shout out to RELZ. I owe you on this. Camera body, lens. I don't use tripods. I have a monopod, Joby monopod. No filters as of yet. Camera bag right now, I have like a Adidas sling bag. That's about it when it comes to which is your favorite lens and why. 35mm. I need to buy a Sigma. It's a big investment. So, but why? It's not too wide and it's not too close, so to say. Like the 50s is a very much a clutch lens when it comes to portraits, but if you want a wider view, 35 is like perfect. They're sharp. The bokeh is epic. It's one of the lenses that I got like most of my best portraits out of, so I kind of stick to it, even though I don't have one right now. But I mainly go 50 because I'm on full frame, so it makes sense. When you go in one of your travels, what all you take with you? That was kind of odd. When I travel, what I take? This camera, the GoPro, iPhone, this lens, and possibly the 50. This lens is very like, I can get from 17 to 35, so it's perfect. I don't know if you know what that means, but we'll get to that maybe later. Among the gadgets that you own, is there something that you wish you hadn't bought and why? Nah. Everything I buy for a purpose and a reason, so like there's no reason for me not to like that. In the field, what are your settings? Either manual or on AV, which is like aperture propriety. So AV is like a low-key cheat code when you want to like master some portraits and not have to like dial in settings too much. So either manual or AV. And if it's something like quick and random, don't be afraid to put that camera on dummy mode, which is the green mode, automatic. Shoot and just go back and post and fix it how you want. What kind of tools do you use for post-processing? Photoshop, Lightroom, and honestly sometimes my phone, just my iPhone, I'll like edit in either VSCO or I have a few other apps that I use that's like kind of random, but they all work the same. How do you educate yourself to take better pictures? Honestly, right now, YouTube. I watch a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of documentaries on like photographers like Gordon Parr. A lot of like classic fine art photographers that's like big in the game. Like Terry Richardson is one of my faves, hence the flannel, hence the white wall you've been seeing. Other than that, I also read. I read a lot of like books, blogs. The internet. Honestly, let's just say the internet. Among your works, which one is your favorite? That question is too hard to answer, but all of them, all of my work is my fave. Like, there's nothing that I've shot that I, in a sense, really didn't like. Whose work has influenced you the most? The homie Ted Wimbush. I'll tag him in the caption. I'll tag him below in the description. Ted is definitely like inspired. Terry Richardson, Gordon Parks recently, even though he's always inspired me, recently I've looked over some of his work and it just brought me back into a mode where I need to like really grasp what a Kibwe mono portrait is. So yeah, one second. That seems to be all those questions. So let's talk a little bit about what I'll be getting into for the new year. Building my own content, my own work, my own craft, my own genre, my own style. Every shoot that I do moving forward needs to be my style, meaning I'm gonna style them, creative direct. If I have to do posing, which I rarely do because I want the person to bring their personality out, so I kind of allow them to do what they want. Locations, obviously. Other than that, my white wall setup is here. Straight paid. I feel like there's a battle between this world of models that are independent wanting to be paid by photographers that are independent, and personally that's not like, you know, it's not like I'm saying they're wrong for charging people, but think about it. Would you pay to go to work? Like, would you pay your job to go to work? Just imagine you have to pay your job every day to go to work, then come home and then go back and do it again. Because essentially I would have to pay you for just a look that you have. It's not to say that you have brands attached to you, publications attached to you. You understand? That's gonna like get me published and more work. Like, word of mouth is cool, social media is cool, but there's a thing between the paying versus why am I paying? Like, what am I investing my money into? And granted, I've been in situations where models, of course, wanted to charge me, and I'll just tell them like, all right, well, if I'm gonna pay you this much, how much are you gonna pay me for edits? Because now I have to go home and sit in front of my computer for hours and work on what I paid you for, in a sense, you get me? And then it's like they expect you to give them back that work for free. It doesn't really make sense when you put the logic together. So also, I want to do a 365 project starting on the 1st, a portrait or a image a day, whether it's on my story or on my website, which I more than likely will do on my website and then display it on my page. My laptop is dying and I'm using it to see what I'm filming, but I hope this was dope for you. I'm gonna like use this 12% of my laptop to just talk about some of the portraits that I've recently done, some of my favorite portraits that I've captured this year or within the past few months, just to keep it short and simple. So one of my favorite shoots is Diana, 10%. Diana the model, she's like, I met her last year if I'm correct. She's dope. She's from Wakanda, aka Bed-Stuy now. She's a dope model. She has a very dope skin texture of, well, skin color. It's very, I'll show you the pictures as I'm talking, but yeah, she's just dope. She's all around cool person to me. Who else would I shot with? Oh, Dr. Melanin. She's like, if you follow me, you already know who that is. We always make magic together. She's such a goofball. She's such a ball of life. I love shooting with her, and just even hanging around her talking every now and then is great. And there's a bunch of other portraits that I'm just gonna display, like some of my favorites with some music. So yeah, guys, expect this more often. I'm gonna be attempting to create my channel based on just how I work. I don't want to just make this the ordinary YouTube, ordinary YouTube video, but I want this to be like something where you feel like you're just here chilling with me, checking out my work, like we in the crib chilling, you feel me? Like, that's how I want it to be. So until then, I'll see you guys. Have a happy new year. Stay safe, be yourself, stay true. I'ma holla at y'all.
15 made it. made it.